3,000.
What is doing? I hate doing it, but I'd like everyone to like, subscribe, share the content. Sharing is really important. If you like the content that I'm bringing you with the 3000 podcast, you want to help us grow, make sure you do all that stuff. Follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, share, do all that good shit. Now to the episode.
3,000.
What is doing? My name's Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I'm joined today by Claire Thorn.
That's correct. That's me.
And you are here to talk not only about your story, but also about a pressing issue that's happening down the peninsula here where we reside.
Indeed. The most pressing issue for us at the moment, there are many, but the most pressing issue for the creative community is the fact that the council voted a couple of weeks ago to completely slash our funding.
All of it?
Zero. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's obviously, and I consider myself part of the arts as well. Not that I get any funding, but it impacts everybody.
Absolutely.
And so we're gonna have to get to the bottom of this. But before we do that, let's give us a bit of a background about who you are, what you do down here, so people can get more of an understanding of yourself.
So, early 2022, myself plus Melissa Jackson, two of us got together and decided that we wanted to create a creative arts festival in Flinders.
Yep.
We called it the Flinder Fringe Festival because fringe can mean anything.
Yep.
And
it's an umbrella term.
Yeah, it's a bit of an umbrella term. I mean, people say, what's the fringe of? Well, you know, it just is the fringe. And so from that moment of just deciding we would do it, we've produced 3 Flinders Fringe Festivals, 23, 24, 25. We've produced a winter festival, and we've also had a return season of one of the theatrical works that we've produced. So it's been pretty good. And 2 of us are volunteers, along with our volunteer committee.
Awesome. So was there a bit of a gap in that sort of creative space down here that you thought there needed to be something like that?
Well, I mean, we turn out to be the only festival on the peninsula that is focused purely on the creatives here.
Okay.
So there isn't actually any other festival that is as diverse as ours.
Right.
I mean, granted, we're in a little coastal village of Flinders, but you utilise it to the max. Yeah.
And so the Flinders area, for people that may not be familiar with the peninsula, is the catchment of like the electorate. So it's sort of most of the peninsula.
So the events take place in the coastal village of Flinders, but our purpose is about the whole of the Mornington Peninsula. So we're constantly scouting for new acts, emerging artists, existing artists, looking to have a really diverse program, and that's what we've created over the last 3 years.
Awesome. So when you first started this with, what was your partner's name who was in it? Sorry.
Melissa Jackson.
Melissa Jackson. When you started with Melissa, did you think you were going to get funding? Was there any idea of that sort of thing?
No, well, I mean, we had hoped, and but neither of us had any experience in creating festivals. We both are very passionate about the arts. Melissa also has 3 degrees in various creative fields, and I have a passion for just organising events. So the first year, in fact, we thought we would just try and pull together a program, but people encouraged us to apply, and after about 3 attempts, we managed to get a Performing Arts Development grant for an event which was spectacular, that people are still talking about, which was Mirror Dance, The Mating of the Weedy Sea Dragon, which included 10-metre wide puppets, a full choir, lots of local musicians, volunteers aplenty. I mean, it was extraordinary, and it was something spectacular, and we had about 600 people sitting around the Flinders golf course watching this incredible event. And that was all thanks to the Performing Arts Development grant that we got.
Okay.
And so from then on, we thought, well, you know, not only do we want to bring people together, we want to create and commission new work. And so we've been able to do that, which has meant creating work that pays artists properly, celebrates our local community, and just puts on something that's fairly... pretty wonderful, where most people would have to go up to the city or maybe Frankston to see it. It's actually here on the peninsula.
Yep. And that is super important because, like, as somebody who's only just new to the peninsula, I moved down here 3 years ago, to have the culture that you would normally get in the city here is very important.
Yeah.
We don't have that much, and when you get it, to rip it away, it sucks.
I know, and so we created the Flinders the Flinders Fringe Festival, a bit hard to say, but a whole lot of other people have taken advantage of the grants and also the vibe that's sort of just grown and grown every year. And so there is Deep Sea Survey in Shoreham, there's Ninch Nights, there's the musicians who are making albums, there's the chamber music, there's a whole bunch of people. It feels like there's this great sort of surge of creativity, and there's an incredible community that has come together, particularly now, while we're facing a council that's decided that it's not investing in the arts isn't something that they'd like to prioritise.
Yeah. Okay.
Bonkers.
So, yeah, it's crazy. So let's break down how that has come to be. So the powers that be have decided that arts funding on the peninsula is basically gone to zero.
Yes.
When it was at around about $500,000, was that
Close
it?
to,
Okay.
yeah.
So can you, for people that aren't familiar, tell us how they've taken it away and what the justification process behind that, if there is any.
All right. So the short version, we have 11 councillors.
Okay.
There's a voting block of 6 who vote together. They seem to vote together a lot. And so every year there's a grant, a bucket of money called the Community Investment Fund, and the council officers put up recommendations to councillors about how it should be spent. So it's spent on a whole lot of different things in the community, including the arts. And then this year, when the recommendation went up, the night before the council meeting, where all the councillors probably would have voted on the councillor's recommendation, the deputy mayor decided that they wanted the money spent differently, which of course they can. So a councillor can put up a motion to amend what's been proposed, and they can debate it. They can justify it. They are actually obliged to have proper community consultation if, in fact, large sums of money or a grant fund is removed. That's according to the Local Government Act.
Is that stipulated? Because what defines a large sum of money? $500,000 sounds like a large sum of money to me.
Look, I don't know the exact quote within the Local Government Act, but it basically says that if a councillor is making decisions about removing funding that probably has some impact, then proper community consultation needs to happen.
Right. Which they failed to do in your eyes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In my eyes, in many other people's eyes.
Yep.
And so the motion was pushed. The 6 out of 11 popped their little hands up, and there you go. And the justification, well, there's been many different justifications depending on which person is speaking or what Facebook page you're looking at or what letter you've received. But there's a regular reference to a council survey of up to 3,000 people that happened earlier in the year that asked people what the budget priorities are. And because no one said the arts was a budget priority, they've justified their cuts by
a sample
by that sample. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a valid sample. And if the arts community thought that particular survey was going to do what, to lead to the elimination of the grants, well, I think the survey probably would have had a different sort of response. I mean, the interesting thing is we've got a petition that we've presented to the Shire. But we're also gathering signatures, which you can keep on adding your signature to through our website, which is saveourartsmp.org.
And we'll put a link straight to the petition.
Yes.
Link in the description right now. If you want to click it right now, you can sign it.
Brilliant. So our hope is that we're getting closer to the number of people who sign the petition, or in fact will exceed the people who participated in the council survey, because none of us would have, if we knew that the funding was in jeopardy, we wouldn't have been sitting on our hands.
No.
That is for sure.
Yes. Okay, so it's been unjustly removed with
Correct.
little to no explanation.
Yes.
So besides signing the petition, what else could people do to voice their opinions in a
Respectful?
Respectful is the right word. We don't
Respectful.
want, because some people have been throwing around a lot of, names and that sort of thing, which is not condoned, but in a respectful way, what can you do to show your support?
So we're very simply asking for the councillors to restore the funding. That's what we want. And there are 2 opportunities, 2 meetings coming up, one on the 3rd of June, one on the 17th of June, which are considering the budget allocations.
Yep.
So we're asking for all the councillors to vote for the money to be restored. And they can do that. People can voice their concerns by signing the petition. We would love people to turn up and be part of our rally in front of the council offices on the 3rd of June.
Which will be tomorrow.
Which will be tomorrow, yes, which is tomorrow. My birthday too.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday, Claire. Turn up at 4:45. I think the councillors arrive and are in a meeting by 5:30, but we had a great rally the last council meeting. So the 3rd of June or the 17th, we're going to be there. Also on the website, you can just click on one of the buttons and send an email to one or all of the councillors to say, please reconsider.
Yep.
There's a lot to lose. There really is a lot to lose. There's been incredible momentum in the 3 years that we've had this funding. There is an extraordinary community and there are so many benefits, not only in producing beautiful new work, not only creating a community of creatives on the peninsula, but it's well documented. Participation in the arts or having the arts as part of our everyday life is good for your health and well-being, our mental health, and guess what? It's also good for our economy. It's good for tourism. It's good for all of those things.
The flow-on effect is real.
I know. I mean, they do say it's like $1 in, $7 out.
Look, if you're going to see a show, you're probably going to have dinner or have drinks, right?
Yeah.
So the local economy benefits there. But it's not just the people that you are employing, the performers. It's also the photographers, the videographers,
Absolutely.
the designers, the people that make money in every other capacity.
Staging.
Yeah.
So when we had the return season of the Seaville's How production, the owner of the Flinders Village Cafe told me that was his best 3 days of the whole year, which included summer.
Right. You can't argue with that.
No, not at all. And the thing is, why do we need to?
Yes. So has anything, and look, I'm just learning about this as a lot of people are.
Yes.
So has anything changed with the hierarchy of the people making the decisions and voting of those 12 people? Has anything changed dramatically in the last, since they brought the funding in?
So we have a whole new set of councillors.
Right.
As of last November.
Are they voted in?
Yeah. So we have 11 new councillors. They're voted in. We now have 1 councillor per ward. That's a different configuration. I'm not sure whether that would have made any difference. And, like with any kind of, obviously, government, the majority rules. And this majority is ruling.
Mm-hmm. Has there been anything said that what they're going to then move the $500,000 worth of potential grants to?
So the whole bucket was reconfigured. So it wasn't like they took $500,000 out of arts and put it into something else. They've said in other forums, they've said that more money has gone into Australia Day, more money has gone into Anzac Day.
Australia Day?
Yeah. I think that was kind of one of the lead items on Sky News when it was discussed within a day of the decision being made.
There's so much controversy around that day already. Why are you putting more money into it? That makes no sense.
I don't know.
That's
Let's just take a look at the bigger picture, perhaps. I'm not sure. Anyway, yes, so money has gone into, the money has actually gone into some fairly worthy causes, more money for community support centres. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fundamental. It's kind of interesting because a lot of people have said, oh, well, of course they've got to cut back because there's, constraints on the budget, la, la, la. But in fact, the budget doesn't look constrained. And what I thought was pretty interesting was when I sat in the council meeting last time round, and in the meeting that we've just had, there was a consideration of the infrastructure funding. And out of the blue, the deputy mayor, the same man who decided that arts wasn't a priority, asked his fellow councillors to consider an additional $500,000 for unspecified community safety initiatives. There was no justification for that. There was no... In fact, I don't think he felt like he really needed even to provide any kind of evidence. But guess what? When there was a vote, 6 little hands went up. So, boom.
Without saying anything too incriminating, you think that these people have conspired, that they're talking about this outside of there? Is that what we... I don't know how this stuff works.
I would I'd suggest anyone to perhaps just go into the chamber if you can and just watch how it works, because there are certain members of that group of 6 who are very, very articulate. And then there are some that are incredibly silent and seem not to have any form of opinion other than raising their hand.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that's just an observation. So if people want to check the YouTube of previous council meetings.
Or get to the one tomorrow.
Yeah, get to the one tomorrow. Have a look. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting scenario. But I would urge all of those councillors, all of them, to listen to the community and reconsider and restore the funding, because it's really important. It's important to the creatives and it's important to our community, heart and soul.
Yeah. So not only did you lose it for your endeavours, do you know any people that are directly affected as well that were relying on that funding for future projects?
Well, I can't suggest, because every year people have to apply. Okay. So obviously it's not recurrent funding, but every year the Shire has made recommendations for the councillors to sign off, and the recipients. It's a very diverse group.
Okay.
So we've got young singer-songwriters making albums and then doing brilliant things. So Velvet Bloom receives a grant, then goes on and attracts a Creative Victorian grant, attracts a Creative Australia grant, and then is touring and releasing an album. I mean, it's a springboard to so many other things. It's the same with Seawolves Howl, the production that we commissioned and produced. That's going to, and hopefully, be touring around Victoria fairly soon. So, yes, if you were to look at, and you can look at the Shire's website, you'll see that there are singer-songwriters, chamber music, there's opera, there's visual artists, there's theatre, youth theatre, really diverse, because we've got some mighty talent on the Peninsula, and these grants have enabled some people from producing work which they would never be able to produce. We, at the Flinders Fringe Festival, obviously, we have a sort of mixed economy, because we have ticket sales, we have generous donations from some people, and we have a little bit of sponsorship money from the Shire, 20 grand a year, and we've had the grants. And so we've been able to enable certain artists to do work who wouldn't necessarily have been able to, even with the creative grant.
Okay. Yeah, so even in your scenario with the it is a tongue twister.
I know.
Flinders Fringe Festival.
Flinders Fringe Festival.
All the Fs.
Yes.
With the funding being removed.
Yes.
Will you survive?
We will scale down momentarily. We will lose some of the artists. We won't be able to produce maybe the diversity of a program. We'd certainly give it a red hot go, though. Because
when is the next one?
So we've got a winter festival in July, which is a sort of a small scale winter warmer. That's the final weekend of July. And then our big festival, which is about 50 events, is the last weekend of February next year.
Okay. So if people want to support you without this sort of funding, they've got to get down there July, buy their tickets and show their support.
Absolutely. And we've also got charity status, so people can always make a generous donation if they want to. But buying tickets is probably the most important thing for us, because we can put on a show, but we want people to fill the venues that we've got.
For sure. And sponsorship, I'm guessing, as well. If there's businesses with some deep pockets, they can help there.
Absolutely. And we've had some generous local businesses and some generous local donors. I mean, it's a small scale festival with a mighty big heart, I'd say. And considering Melissa and I are both volunteers, I think we've done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, awesome. So I know you can't speak for the councillors, but do you think that the mindset was we can remove this? People may not be happy, but they'll deal with it. Like, did they expect there's going to be a pushback like there is?
Look, I think there's probably two schools of thought. It could either have been, oh, people will understand, or how about we throw a hand grenade into this gorgeous community and see what kind of response we get. I don't know. I don't know what the intention was supposed to be.
It's reasonably ignorant to think that it was just going to happen with no one caring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you consider... I mean, how diverse the creative community is and also how passionate it is. I mean, come on.
I know. Yeah, I guess it just goes to show that some people value art and other people just really don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I can't understand that, but, that's me.
So I guess to try and put a positive spin on what's happened is that everybody's come together.
Yeah.
And that...
Oh, my God, yeah.
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 So tell us a little bit about that and when everybody heard. Obviously, news travels fast and everyone's like, well, we're not going to stand for this.
Yeah, so I was alerted with a couple of other people by our local councillor, David Gill, who is one of the supporters of the arts community. And he let us know, I think it was the day before the vote happened, and we mobilised pretty quickly. So a handful of us just said, I think we've got to get everyone together. And so I think it was the council meeting was the Tuesday, and then about 20 people got together at the Broadway in Rosebud, and we sat there for a couple of hours. In those 2 hours, someone was making a website. We worked out what the taglines were going to be. We worked out, who was going to say what, and we had some social media. Alchemy social media have provided some pro bono social media for us. So we've got some great comms people, and so we got together, and that was the Sunday. And by Tuesday, we had 350 people turn up, and we had, I think, about 1,600 people sign the petition.
Awesome.
So
it moved quickly.
That's a pretty extraordinary community, and there's a lot of love amongst us and a lot of respect for the diversity.
Yep. So I guess that is the positive to take out of it, to see
Absolutely.
everybody getting together.
Yeah.
And I guess hopefully relationships are formed there to strengthen the community.
Oh, my God, because I think we want the money restored. We not only want the money restored, but we actually want more money. We want more investment because it makes a lot of sense. So, we're not going to stop.
So the last meeting, and I saw some footage.
Yeah.
There was, like you said, 350 people.
Yeah, about 350.
And that was when you had not that much time to prepare.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, when
tomorrow,
this airs,
yes.
How many people are you expecting,
Ooh.
and is it going to be different to the last one? Do you anticipate?
Well, I think there's going to be a pretty special flash mob.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an anthem.
Yep.
Has been rehearsed. Watch this space for that. I think I'm hoping maybe 500 people might turn up.
Okay.
Who knows?
And when last time a lot of people went into the meeting.
Yes.
You're not going to have 500 people go into there. Can you fit that many people in?
So they made rooms available with screens.
Okay.
Only 50 people can actually get into the chamber.
Okay. And you were in there?
Yes.
And what did you think?
I stayed the whole time. Well, the meeting wasn't a meeting that had any kind of amendment. So there was no real action that was going to take place. I just thought it was interesting to see how the council actually operated. Mm-hmm. It was fascinating to see how certain council members are very articulate, very outspoken, and others that just sat silent.
Make the numbers up.
But put the hands up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Little hands go up and little hands go down, and then nothing. Mm-hmm. No whisper, no comments, nothing. Yeah.
So I guess the moral of the story is this for other people: go and be more involved in your community, because if people were, maybe they wouldn't have tried to sneak this through. But who thinks to go to council meetings? You know what I mean?
Well, who does? Who wants to? But I just think, think about who you vote for in your council elections, and even if the person who you voted for didn't get in, get to know who is there representing your interests and your needs, because each of these councillors who have voted against the arts funding all have constituents. So and probably they want to be voted in again. So I think, I mean, we're fortunate we've got David Gill. He's very engaged with the community, and also he's very passionate about the arts and the environment and First Nations issues, plus roads and rates and all of those other things. But I think there is a group of new councillors that people are perhaps not so familiar with, and I think I would urge people to get to know who is representing them, who's putting
any electorate.
who's putting up their little hand, and what are they putting their little hand up for?
Yeah. So, in a perfect scenario,
yes,
for the cause,
yes.
Tomorrow they say we've reevaluated. We're going to pass this motion and we're going to vote again. Is that what we're hoping for?
So what we're hoping is that one of the councillors who are really supportive will put forward a new motion, an amended motion, and that 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of the block of 6 might reconsider and understand the importance of funding the arts.
Yep. Okay. And then even just partially restoring it, that's not good enough.
Well, we want it restored to what it was last year. But I think we need a deeper community discussion and certainly study to consider additional funding, because there's huge benefit. I mean, the money that comes into the Flinders Fringe, for instance, goes to the artists. The artists are paid well. They're obviously not paid as well as everybody else, but they're paid the industry rate. They spend their money on the Peninsula. It's circular. The money goes in, and also something extraordinary is produced because of the funding.
Yeah. So and obviously this is very focused on the Peninsula, but have you seen some love and some people coming from down further, Melbourne way?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people who've reached out to us, people following us, people not really understanding, because we've got Bendigo and Castlemaine. Even Frankston has the most extraordinary investment in their arts at the moment. People just can't understand why this decision's. I mean, why it's actually been made. I can't.
No.
Really.
Yeah.
So we're receiving a lot of love and support. Absolutely.
Okay. And so if anyone wants to, that can't get to the meeting, that maybe then, like you said, they're from the other side of they're on the other side of the bay. They're from Queensland, wherever they are, they can sign the petition still.
Yes, please.
You can sign the petition. You can click the link there. You can jump on Instagram and follow them. What's the Instagram handle? Because there's a few different sort of...
It's Save Our Arts MP.
Save Our Arts MP. All right, so you can get on there, follow them, and you can stay up to date with what's going on.
Absolutely.
And if you are down this way, you can get to the meeting tomorrow.
Correct.
And peacefully
at the Rosebud. Rosebud Council. Yes. And just come down to the Peninsula and buy tickets and enjoy what we've got to offer. I mean, that's what we want.
Yeah. And that's it. So you mentioned, just to move away from this sort of for a minute,
yes.
You mentioned the Broadway, which is in Rosebud.
Yes.
Which is a beautiful old hall that used to be a theatre,
Indeed,
I believe.
yes.
And so what's the plans for that moving forward? Because it was a vintage shop for many years.
For a long time, yeah. So Sally and Max have a vision of transforming that incredible building into a community arts hub. We need every kind of venue on the Peninsula we can possibly get, and they're putting heart and soul into that as well. So that is to be supported.
And what can we expect from that venue? Is it going to be live stuff? Is it going to be music? Is it going to be theatre?
I think the vision is to be all of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a beautiful big space. I think it was built in 1927. It's coming up for its centenary anniversary in a couple of years. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, there are great pockets of activity across the Peninsula, and the Rosebud Broadway is to be supported, but equally we would love an arts hub in Hastings, like better venues everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a bit of a void.
It's hard. I actually think the best venues on the Peninsula are in the private schools. They've got the best venues.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't been to any of the private schools.
No, neither have I.
My son goes to a public school, and I'm pretty impressed with the facilities there too.
Yeah. Rosebud has got Rosebud Secondary has got a great theatre. We could use that a lot more.
So besides supporting like that, you just want people to be more engaged with the Peninsula arts in general?
Absolutely, yeah.
Support local, yeah.
No, go and see exhibitions, go and see local bands. Yeah, just there's so much going on. There's always something going on the weekends.
Yeah, because for someone who's only lived down here for 3 years, it's like everybody wants to come down here in summer, and then it's like winter.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and that must be really hard for a lot of the local businesses as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's part of the reason why we established the Winter Warmer last year, because not a lot's happening. But
Which
people,
I kind of like, personally, from a relaxing standpoint.
Yeah, but I mean, the locals, they want to get out and about a little bit.
For sure, yeah. I definitely do. But, when the circuses left town around about that time of like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wow, I can go back to the supermarket.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to buy tickets for our Flinders Fringe Winter Warmer, they can go to flindersfringe.com.au.
In July.
Yeah, for July.
Okay, so the footage that I saw last week from the meeting looks like it broke out into song at the end. People hung around. So what time did you stay there till?
Oh, well, I went into the meeting. So I think the community meeting was at 5:30, but I was there till stumps, which I think was about 10:30. That was till the end of that meeting. Yep.
Okay, and I guess that's a great way for people to show their support as well, because when those people are walking out, they're saying these guys aren't going anywhere.
No.
They're not here just for half an hour to show their face. They're here for the long haul.
That's right. And, all eyes on them, really.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that now that you've got your core members who are all helping out, this MP page is just going to grow. And aside from what you're doing, it hopefully could grow into something that you guys could use to strengthen the community moving forward as well.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that, there are particular benchmarks, OECD benchmarks about government spending on the arts. And I think it's something like 1.5% of a budget should go towards arts and culture.
Right.
And we are on the Mornington Peninsula Shire is nowhere near that. I mean, that's probably our goal.
Right.
So restore funding now, but actually have funding that is commensurate with other jurisdictions.
So we've gone through the scenario in a perfect scenario.
Yes. Yeah.
They will restore the funding tomorrow.
Yay.
If that doesn't happen, the meet's on the 17th.
We'll be coming back.
And then if that doesn't work, what is there? Is there class actions? Is there anything else? What else can we do besides people power?
I think it's just then a sustained campaign, actually, because this is a budget cycle. So the councillors have made a decision or are making a decision about this year's budget. There's next year's budget.
Okay.
And by next year's budget, if they send out a survey and ask people what's important, watch out.
Yeah.
Because there'll be thousands of people who will be saying, we want money for arts and culture. We want money for the environment. We want money for our First Nations organisations, because they're the ones who have had the slash and burn.
Yeah. And so it's a 12-month cycle. So if it doesn't pan out this time, obviously no one's going anywhere, but the hope is that it gets restored for the next one.
Oh, my God, yes. Oh, yeah. And the campaign will start as of the 18th of June.
Okay. So that's it. And I love the way that you said mobilised, like it's a military thing as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is really important.
It is.
Do you know what? It's really important. I mean, it's important for the creatives that exist now. It's so incredibly important for young people who are coming up. There are some young people whose lives are transformed by the arts, absolutely transformed, life-giving, because it's a place where people feel that they belong.
Yep.
And this is incredibly important.
Yeah, and so many artists that may not have grown up on the peninsula do move down here as
Yeah.
well. So that needs to be harnessed also, because that can strengthen the greater, community.
Yeah, absolutely. All of those things. So, yeah, the fight is it's not over.
It's definitely. I feel like it's just begun.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night, get down there, show your support.
Yes.
Sign the petition. Follow MP Arts.
No,
What is it?
Save Our Arts MP.
Nathan's laughing at me.
Save Our Arts MP.
Save Our Arts MP.
And the website is saveourartsmp.org.
And if you are from this electorate, write letters.
Absolutely. And you can go onto our website and click on a button because
link's in the thing.
it has all the emails.
Okay, everyone's there. All right, well, I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm going to make sure that I push this as much as we can.
Thank you.
This episode is going to go out the day before. We're doing it early so people can get down there, so they can voice their opinion, so they can make sure that they know that arts isn't going to be unheard.
Thank you so much. This is so incredibly important. I really, really appreciate it.
No worries. I always like to talk to anybody who's interesting and creative, and we've made this work just so we can get it out for
brilliant.
that purpose. And hopefully there's some great little sections that we can chop from this and where people can share them, and hopefully it gains some more traction for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Awesome. Claire Thorn, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And let's save the arts.
Thank you.
Cheers.
3,000.